welcome back. Alright, so garage is a complete disaster. Um, Done a couple things on the machine. Um, so as you can see, I put the fender flares on there and the roof rack is on the top. So I'm gonna be getting a roof made for the top. But the fender flares, so the fender flares I got from Team MSC, I'll put the link down below. Gonna give a shout out to Jack, Side by Side Outcast. If you go to his channel, he shows you how to install these fender flares. They're super easy. I think it took me about 30 minutes. It's not hard. It does come with directions, but if you watch him do it, it'll make even more sense. So if you look at the fender flares, they kind of look cobra'd, and I like to be able to see my tires. What I've done is I've marked the fender flares so that I can cut them down a little bit. Let me show you how I did that. So what I did was I took a T-square and I put it in the center of the tire and slid it up against the fender, and then took a tape measure, ran it to it, and it's at 7 inches. Really, I don't care what it's at, but that's where I was at with my tire, was about 7 inches. I took a white grease pencil, or a pencil for doing seamstress stuff, and I made a mark. As you can see, there's a couple of different marks here. This one was just so that it kind of gave me a straight line. This is about where the tape measure was at, and I just hand drew the line. This one was just, don't worry about that one. So all I did was basically hand draw a line so that it stayed with that curvature and went down and stayed at about half the tire all the way down. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the jigsaw with a plastic blade on it. I'm going to start down at the bottom, cut all the way up to the top, and then on the other side I'm just going to flip it over and make my mark and do the same thing. So it'll kind of thin out this fender. The rear fenders look really good, but I wanted to thin out that front fender. It'll still keep the mud from the side of the machine, but it'll allow me to actually see the tire while I'm in it, because some of the trails that I ride, you really need to worry about tire placement on rocks and stuff like that. So that's what I'm doing now. So follow along. And there you go. Can't even tell it was cut. Not really. Follows the curvature just fine. And I can take a sander and round it off a little bit, but now all I gotta do is take that piece, flip it over on the other side, trace the line, and do it all over again. And there you go. Fender's trimmed. That was pretty good.